Friendships. As little kids, it was so easy for us to make new friends. All it took was one simple question. Do you want to be my friend? That's all it took, and all of a sudden we had a friendship for life. Or at least that's what we thought at the time. And so for today's video, I wanted to share with you guys what I learned this past year and a half during the pandemic about friendships. Because let's face it, the pandemic has put all of our friendships to the test. And along the way, we might have lost some friends. I know I lost some friends, but I also gained new ones. Before the pandemic happened, our friendships weren't really tested. The people that we saw on a day-to-day basis and that we talked to on a day-to-day basis were always there. But during the pandemic, being in isolation and not having these connections on a day-to-day basis made it difficult for us to stay in touch, made it difficult for us to be up to date with what's going on in different friendships. And at the same time, it kind of made you realize who you truly care about and who you actually care to check up on. And something that came up a lot during this past year is that there are three types of friendships. There are the friends that are there for a reason, the friends that are there for a season, and the friends that are there for a lifetime. And if you're a little bit confused as to what is what, let me break it down for you. Friends that are there for a reason are individuals that you cross paths with, your neighbor, or just people that you see at work. They're not necessarily your best friends, but they're individuals that you had to meet for a certain reason. There are individuals that you cross paths with, that you needed to cross paths with in order to learn something or to help them in something. There's just always a reason. It's pretty straightforward. But when it comes to friends for a season, I think during the pandemic, a lot of our friendships kind of fell in this category, because essentially what happens is that there are individuals that are in your life that you might consider best friends, that you might consider the people that you're going to be with forever. Then as you start to grow up, you start to have different values and different obligations and different goals and different dreams. And this difference makes it difficult for you to connect with that individual the same way that you did before. So you kind of start to grow out of that friendship. And this is something that I think we all experience growing up, but we definitely experienced that during the pandemic when we were in isolation and we weren't able to have these day-to-day conversations with the friends that we considered lifetime friends. Now, lifetime friends, this is a category that gets smaller and smaller as you grow up. And it's not necessarily because you're a bad friend and you're just losing all these friends. It's just, like I mentioned, you start to grow up and you start to have different values. You start to have different obligations, different goals. Because of this, you want to get surrounded by individuals that have that same drive as you. And this causes other friendships to be lost and new friendships to be created, which is exactly what I experienced this past year. Like I said at the very beginning, I lost some friends. And maybe lost friends is a little bit of an extreme, because I don't necessarily think I lost them as friends, but I definitely lost that connection that we had before the pandemic happened. As you grow up, your circle is bound to get smaller, and it's not a bad thing. And I think that's the biggest lesson that we can take away from the pandemic, is the importance of having meaningful friendships in our lives. Yes, it is fun to have lots of friends that you can call up at any time to have a good time with, but at the end of the day, when you're growing up, you're going to start to realize the importance of having individuals in your life that are meaningful, individuals that are going to support you and push you forward with your goals and your dreams. You know, there's that whole saying that you are the average of the 5 people that you hang out with. And that is very true. Once you start to focus down on your goals and your dreams, and you start to have friendships in your life that are tied to those goals and to those dreams, you'll realize that those friendships mean so much more than the individuals that you can just call up and have a drink with. And so with these lessons, I've learned that this past year, the friendships that I've made are friendships that are true connections that I would have never made if it wasn't for these different things that I've learned throughout this past year and a half about creating meaningful connections with individuals. It is so easy to go to school and to make new friends with the individuals that you go to class with, but it's so much harder to be out and about in the middle of a pandemic and try to find meaningful connections. But yet, I think every single one of us at least made one meaningful connection that we weren't expecting to make, thanks to the pandemic. To conclude the video, I just ask you to look at the people that are around you. Whether your circle is big or small, look at the individuals that are in it and make sure that there are people that are always going to support you and push you forward with your dreams and your goals. Make sure that these are individuals that put a smile on your face, that make sure that you're always okay, and that are there for you. And that goes for you as well. Make sure that the people that are in your life are also individuals that you check up on. I think it's very important nowadays, with how difficult it is for us to open up to individuals, for us to reach out and to make sure that they know that you're there. And always remember to prioritize your happiness. If they make you happy and they support you and they're there for you, then those are friendships worth keeping. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you did enjoy today's video, please make sure to give it a like, and if you're not subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.